Good, whatever time of day it is you happen to be listening. This is the P&A Podcast Express, brought to you by Palm Street Studios.
Palm Street Studio.
He's Adam Filkins. I'm Phil Nickel. The reason I had the little delay there, Adam, is because we had forgotten to hit record, but I did, and that's why I wanted the intro music to play for just a split second or five before we came into the episode. How's it going, buddy?
It is going. I'm loving the new studio layout.
I dig it too. I have. There's so much room for activities.
I know. I love what you've done with the place.
It took a little bit of a revamp. Had to make a whole new table, which thanks to Matt Tabin for commandeering, getting us those for us. I did cut it down a little bit, and of course, I went to pick that son of a bitch up, and it's the type of table that's like crested, but then it had the indent for the teacher to sit and kind of like That fucker's heavy.
Yeah, well, even the cut down version.
Yeah.
Watching you move that still was not light.
So I cut it down. I cut the son of a bitch down, and I couldn't find my skill saw, so I had to go get my one in my garage. It must have been my grandfather's. And I got about 3/4 of the way through cutting it, and all of a sudden the blade started slipping. And I'm like, son of a bitch. So I tightened it up. I got another little bit through it. And then started slipping again. So finally, and it was hot as balls that day, which is hot as balls every single day now. I got the handsaw out and cut the rest of it.
Really?
I was sweating. You have no idea how much I was sweating.
You did not do that on a cool day either.
No, it was supremely hot.
That's dedication.
So then I sanded it a little bit, and then you brought me up the tape from hell. Fucking Flex Seal tape to put on the edge of that thing. And let me tell you, you had an incident where you couldn't be here, but you left me the Flex Seal tape yesterday. So I decided I wanted to get it done. I can tell you, you got a 5-foot chunk of Flex Seal tape. The table's 5 feet. I said, this is perfect. So my dumbass unfurled all of the Flex Seal tape on a flat. And first of all, I'm sticking to it, and they put this god-awful backing on it and everything else. And I'm sitting here, and this shit sticks to everything.
Oh, yeah.
So at one point, I had all of my digits in this tape, and I did not want to, if you stick it upon itself, you're going to be done. You're totally fucking done. This stuff is the stickiest of the ickiest, as I like to say. So I'm here for anywhere between 10 to 15 minutes all alone, stuck in this tape, not wanting to make sure I didn't fold it upon itself, because then I'd probably be stuck there forever. So I finally get myself out of this pickle. I swear I have no fingerprints left. My fingerprints are firmly embedded on the edge of that table now in that Flex Seal tape. But I did get it installed.
And it looks good. I mean, I can't wait to unveil the whole thing to everybody. It's just you and I tonight.
Right.
Everyone has forsaken us, but I have a feeling when people see this, there's going to be more people that are like, I want to go to Palm Street Studio. I want to hang out at the Palm Street Studio.
I hope so. People are welcome, man. Come on out and hang out at the Palm Street. But yeah, so Flex Seal tape, have a spotter. That should be part of their fucking commercial, dude. Don't try to do a 5-foot strip of Flex Seal tape, 5 foot by 4 inches, by yourself. I shit you not.
No, and when they slap that on the side of that aquarium or whatever to stop it from leaking, it's serious shit. It's going to stop that leak.
So in order to get that off of that table, I'm going to have to get my actual skill saw when I find it, and you're just going to have to cut that strip off, because forget about it. Forget about getting that off there.
The thing is, looking at that compared to the trim that was on it, you'd never know.
I know, it's pretty close, isn't it?
It looks really good. You did a bang-up job.
Even though I put together some swear words that I've probably never band together before.
Well, and we've got that going. We've got a
new camera mount?
A new camera mount that's on the wall. Looking good. We're not, but the camera does.
No, that's awesome, mounting that camera to the wall right there.
Gets rid of a tripod out of the middle of the room.
We have so much more space.
Yeah. Our lighting right now is not on tripods. They're going to get mounted differently. But we're trying some things out.
We're trying to permatize the studio. Permatize. That's a
Is that a thing?
I don't know.
Yeah, sounds
We're
good.
trying to permatize the studio.
Yeah. I'm going to apologize to everybody right now. The pharmacy ran out of the only allergy medication that actually works for me. And I just got it back, and it's got a loading phase to it. Like, it takes 2 or 3 days. I just started taking it again, like, I think yesterday morning was my first dose back on it.
Right.
So I apologize to everybody that I'm going to be nasally more so than normal.
Okay.
And I'm going to mute myself frequently to blow my nose and to cough. So, but it is just allergies. It's not donkey AIDS or whatever.
That's good to know.
It could
Although
very much
we're
be
probably
donkey
almost
AIDS.
6 feet apart, so back in the day, that's all you needed, right? For the donkey AIDS?
Yes.
Is that what we're calling now? JTK says, you took my spot. No, bitch, you've been relegated to the cubby now.
I just sent him a message back. You got a new spot.
Since you never show up anyway, what's the difference?
You know, for as busy of a dude as he is,
Yeah.
he does show up quite a bit.
I know.
I'm
but
going to give him that.
I
But-
gotta flip him shit.
But we got to flip him shit because he's not here right now. And being that we're American, we only remember the most recent thing.
What have you done for me lately?
Yes, exactly.
It's a very Americanized attitude.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah. So the table, yeah. So we got it all set up. I'm not at the tiny desk anymore, which I certainly appreciate.
Yeah, well, you have a full-size real person desk.
Right. And I got access to this even better.
We both have access to this,
That we do.
so that's a plus. And
We also have another new thing I want to point out. The Glenn McNary Budweiser Corner.
yes,
That is purely for Glenn McNary right there.
all hail Glenn McNary.
So he can drink his Budweisers.
Yes, yes.
I mounted that freehand too. I didn't even get a level or anything.
You know, you wouldn't know it. It looks just as crooked as everything else.
I eyeballed it. Actually, the whole studio is crooked, especially as I drink more beers.
Yeah,
I've noticed this. The studio gets off kilter.
as it should.
Yeah, it's just it's the nature of the beast. This is such a better setup, though. Gosh, we have in between us. We have this desk with the board. I dig it. I like it. I like it.
Well, it does allow me the opportunity to reach over and mute myself when I'm going to cough or sneeze or whatever, so I don't blow everybody's ears out. And it gives us both access to the drops. If I hear something weird that I need to make an adjustment, I can do that.
Yeah, where before you're like, hey,
Hey, stop everything. Everybody stop talking so I can tell Phil what to do. The more you know.
right?
So, yeah, I really like this.
And about a month from now, we're like, yeah, we need to change this.
Yeah. Well, about the time we knock that wall out, that's when we'll want to change it again.
Right.
But no, this makes more sense because our guests don't have to have computers and boards, but they have enough room at that table that
They've
they
got
can
a
do
killer
it.
table over there.
Yeah, I'm super anxious to have a guest again, mostly because I'm sick of talking to you. But I'm sure you feel the same.
No.
Are you also sick of talking to yourself?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought so.
I talk to myself day in and day out, so of course I'm sick of it.
Yeah, well, me too.
So I've discussed the table. I've discussed the Glenn McNary Budweiser Corner. What else is there to discuss? Do we, oh, yeah, Deckerville Homecoming over the weekend. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Where do I start with this? I don't want to, be a dick, but I'm going to have to be a dick.
I think a certain amount of dickishness is needed.
And I
this
know that I didn't volunteer and I didn't help, so I'm part of the problem.
So here's the thing, though. Do you help and volunteer when you know something is just going to be a shit show?
I think it's even tougher. So the problem is I don't know what's going on with why okay, it was the Deckerville League of Women, and then the Good Timers took it over. And I thought I thought it was fine, other than they got rid of the truck and tractor pull and had the rodeo in there because people didn't care for it as much. And then, of course, I don't know what happened with them, but they decided they didn't want to do it any longer, or something happened, so the DCDC took it over. And, of course, the first thing they want to talk about is the money and everything involved. Yeah, you've got one off over here on the isolator. So you want to talk about the money involved and what it cost and how, and everything else. And I get it. It does. It costs money. There's no doubt about it. It costs money to have the event, to host the event, to do everything. It costs people time. It costs volunteers. It's a lot. It's a lot of work. It's a huge undertaking. But I got to say this, and I think even JTK will agree, because he has a lot to do with Minden City's shindig, which was 2 weekends ago. I just don't think that Friday night beer tents work in this area anymore, having beer tents on Friday night. Minden City, it was very sparsely attended, and Deckerville, I heard it at the peak was maybe 15 people there, So I just don't think that the Friday
official
night
count for Friday, the most people, was 9.
So I just don't
non-workers.
I just don't think beer tents work on Friday nights anymore around here.
So here's the crazy part. Within 25 miles on Friday, you had let's go 40 miles. Within 40 miles of Deckerville.
And this is going to bring me to my next point. You had the Yale Bologna Festival.
Yale Bologna Festival, which is huge. We were down there on Friday because I had to go get a phone.
Yeah.
I didn't know the Bologna Festival was going on, so we drive through Yale, and it is just packed.
Just asshole to asshole.
Just packed. People everywhere. They got the main road all closed off. We're going, whoa. We're going down the back.
I'm upset.
Down the back stretch and all that to get through. So we get through, and it's like, oh, here we go. We finally made it through Yale. So, like the normal 2 minute to get through Yale.
Did you buy any bologna?
No. We did stop and get a drink at the party store.
Very nice.
So, but you had that. There was something going on in Carroll. Is there a fair going on right now?
Yeah, the Tuscola County Fair is going on.
So the Tuscola County Fair.
Ooh.
Was there stuff in Harbor Beach or was that last weekend?
I don't know. Something was going on up north. Somebody was having one of their festivals up there too. Midland had this big ass concert, this Tall Boys and Tailgates or whatever.
Yeah.
With Jelly Roll and everybody else. So a lot of people went because that was like a full day festival.
Yep.
Saturday, Sandusky, and bless their heart, but Mint over there had their backyard, their alleyway party or whatever during the afternoon.
Which did not have a good turnout either.
And also, Port Sanilac had at the Blue, they had their Olympic party. What I propose and what I want to do is we should all get together and stop cannibalizing each other's festivals. There's plenty of weekends for everything to go around. And maybe we should discuss this instead of starting to jump on. I mean, Port Sanilac Blues Festival already got their wish. I was told 2 years ago, well, maybe Deckerville should reschedule their homecoming because they have it on the same weekend. But Deckerville homecoming for 100 years was always on the first weekend in August.
Yeah. And honestly, I don't think they have the same clientele. To be honest with you.
Probably not as much.
I mean, you saw how many people were up there last year.
Yeah.
We were both up there on Saturday night, and it was packed.
Oh, yeah.
And I heard that it was pretty dismal this year on Saturday.
At the beer tent?
Yeah.
Oh, I was there. It was. But they had nothing for entertainment. And get this, they said they weren't. Okay. The company line was, we're not having entertainment because the truck pull is there. The truck pull got done at 8:45.
Yeah.
I thought in my heart of hearts,
there only 9 entrants in that?
In the truck pull?
Yeah.
I don't know how many entrants there were, but I told everybody, I said, I get it. If the truck pull's going, it's loud and everything. You really can't have a band. If the truck pull's going to be going until midnight, which is what happens in Minden and everywhere else that has truck and tractor pulls. Is that what happened? There was only was it not a TTPA event?
That I don't know.
Okay. So the problem was then that that ended at 9, and they just had a speaker sitting out there with somebody Bluetooth to it. Speaker like I have, just, it plays okay loud enough that you can hear it, but not like...
Not that you're going to dance to it or
Right.
anything else. I mean, it's not entertainment.
Yeah.
Like, literally, so who do you tell what you want to hear, or
Right.
how do you do anything with that? That's,
And I even offered, and I didn't get to the right channels, but I said, I'll go set up my DJ equipment and not charge you a thing. Like...
Well, an event like that would have been great for us to set up so that
Right.
we were visible out there. I would have come up and helped you with that.
So we wouldn't have, and there were a few other people I heard that offered their services for entertainment at no charge, and they didn't take them up on any of them. So
I don't understand that at all. That just sounds like, so to me, I kind of feel like there are just way too many festivals.
I believe there are, and the problem is we can't compete inland with the ones that are out on the lakeshore. I feel like either.
No, like, Minden cities, I guess they probably made good money, but why?
Right.
Sorry, JTK, I love you, and I know that you're heavily involved in that, but I don't understand. There's not enough businesses there to warrant having a festival, because people are literally just coming in to either A, get drunk, play in a softball tournament or cornhole tournament or whatever they have, and then leave town.
Right.
So that there's no infrastructure there to support a festival. And, unfortunately, all these little towns that are having festivals, there isn't enough weekends to have them all.
That's fair. That's true. That's a valid point.
I know that theirs is set up by the Lions Club. But what I feel that they should do is they should get together with some of the other local Lions Club and just have one or two big events for the year that people can go out and support it. Because I'll be honest, I can't go out every freaking weekend and support all these different festivals and go to all this stuff. I mean,
no, I can't either. And I try, like, obviously we had Tuscola Palooza during Minden City weekend, but I went up there on Friday night still, and that was like nobody there on the beer tent on Friday night. Yeah. And with Deckerville, I went up there on Saturday night, and I tried to support and tried to do, but it was just tough. It was lame. It just sucked.
With nothing going on, with nothing to offer, it makes it tough. I would much rather see, and I know that it probably didn't help them at all. They were charging $10 at the door to come in, and that was, the beer tent, they had some other thing going on for kids, but they were not charging everybody, but I think adults were $10 to come in.
Yeah.
And that doesn't help. I mean, what family is going to afford to go up there and spend $50? Or like for me, I'm not going to go up there and drink very much or anything like that, but I'm going to pay $10 just go in and walk in the door when I can go to any bar and talk to the same people any other weekend
and have the same experience, honestly, like you said.
Yeah. So I think there was just a lot of missteps, but I think a lot of these festivals, they do this stuff and they don't really have anything new to offer. Everybody's doing a cornhole tournament now.
Right.
Which is great. People love cornhole tournaments, but after a while, you're not going to get the turnout for it.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. And it's,
I mean, back when we were like graduating high school and things like that, the softball tournaments were huge. They were everywhere. And they drew in a ton of people.
They don't even have the one. So that used to be the staple on Sunday of Deckerville Homecoming. They'd have the softball tournament out at the Sportsman's Club and the chicken barbecue, and they don't do that anymore.
I used to play in that softball tournament.
Yeah.
After that stopped going, I don't think I was to Deckerville Homecoming until last year. So from whenever the last time I played in a softball tournament out there to last year, I never went to Deckerville Homecoming.
That's wild. That's wild, baby.
I look at the same thing with Snover Days. It's kind of one of those festivals that doesn't really need to happen.
No.
they're not building anything out there in Snover.
So everything's dying. It's all just dying. It really is. I mean, the population's decreased. There's not the people like there used to be. Culture's changed. I mean, people aren't going out on the road and getting all looped up and drunk like they used to for a lot of different reasons, you know?
Right.
Which isn't a terrible thing, but I'm not condoning drunk driving, but anymore,
Well, people are afraid to go out and have a beer and
Yeah.
then get in the car.
you know, somebody said to me, a young person gets a drunk drive and it can ruin their life, you know, like
Oh,
somebody in their 20s.
Emily City Fair is going on at this point too.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
You know, so
Eastern Michigan Fair.
yeah. That's a lot. And when we got down to Port Huron last week, every little spot had something going on that you drove through. Up by the mall, they had some kind of thing going on in the parking lot. We drove down by McMorran, and they had their music in the park thing, which was packed.
Right?
So, I mean, people who like to do that kind of stuff, they go down there for that. Lexington was kind of the same way. When we came back through Lexington, it was packed.
So there's no good answer to this. It's just pretty much just kill them. Kill the festivals then. We don't need them.
I think that having, you know, if you want to have a cornhole tournament as a fundraiser, but all these little towns need to get together and rotate a festival.
Yeah.
Have it in Snover one year, have it in Minden one year, have it in Deckerville one year, and rotate it and get the people excited about it and put together the resources to actually make it something good. Because they're not building, they're all dying. They're not building.
They are all dying. Absolutely. It's sad.
It is sad. You know, and I look at, you know, we were over at Tuscola-Palooza, and that's something that has grown every year because they're bringing something in that people want to see and that people want to do.
That is true. That is true.
And I just don't see that with a lot of these little festivals. They think that just because they're, you know, and I didn't go up to Snover Days at all. I don't know what their turnout was. It was probably decent.
So I was up there for the cruise night and also was up there for the parade and everything. And we were there the night. It's nothing like it used to be. I mean,
No. But part of that was Snover Days was started as almost a mockery of every other festival.
right. It's true.
It's Snover Days, for God's sakes. It was built on the premise that
Yes.
you know, it was built on the premise that we're just gonna
It's the
say screw it to
anti-festival.
everything.
Yeah. They were truly trying to rage against the machine there. Ooh, excuse me.
Another comment: volunteers have also become a huge issue at these things, where it's hard to get people to volunteer for stuff.
No, I get that. I fully get that, which is why I fully admitted I'm not part of the solution. I understand that.
But you did offer to come up and provide entertainment, which
I
would have been a
did.
volunteer thing. The other thing that I've noticed is that people they take huge ownership of these things. Like,
Yeah.
oh, this is ours and it's mine, and I don't want anybody to get in on what I'm doing. And they become, you know, almost to the point of being very annoying with how they don't want anybody else involved. Don't show me up.
Right. And also, not only that, I went and gave $60 of my money for their $4 a piece beers. You know, when I could have gotten out of there, I would just spending 20 or 40, 20
Yeah.
probably. So then I'm like, no, I'll buy the extra tickets, and I gave them to some people, and you know, whatever. So,
You know, and I've heard a lot of rumors and a lot of things with why it was the way it was this year. But I don't think they made any improvements to make it better next year.
I don't know if there's going to be a next year.
And maybe a few years off wouldn't be a bad thing.
You know, I mean, JTK knows it. The Minden City one, they only have their parade every 5 years.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to have it every single fucking year. And honestly, I don't know why they would do a beer tent on Friday night anymore. And JTK said that. Well, we'll just do it Saturday and then Sunday.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Oh, the Munger Potato Festival is going on too.
Another big one.
Yeah, that one's huge.
So, I mean, some of these festivals are just like the Bologna Festival. That has been around since before I was.
And you're not going to kill it because that place, their So places like Yale, places like Munger over there by Bay City, they have not had the population drain that we've had here in the deep dirty thumb, I like to call it.
No, and I hate to say it, they have traditional things that people want to go and see.
Right.
You know, the stuff they do at the Bologna Festival, they add some things and they subtract some things every year, but they have the same core of things that go well that they do every year. They get so many people there for that. I was shocked. I mean, we're going down there. We weren't even down in like prime beer tent time. We went down at like 4:30 in the afternoon.
And they were still,
after I smoked my phone. We went down there and we were shocked by how many people were there. I mean, it really was shocking. So, I mean, how do you compete with that? And then, of course, Munger, the Potato Festival, it's a big deal. You know, the people in that area, because it's not just about having a random, okay, we're going to have a festival and we're going to have a cornhole tournament, we're going to have a beer tent.
Right.
I mean, the writing's on the wall with that. All the bars are closing at midnight. You know, that's the newest trend, is that they're closing earlier. Instead of before, they were pushing so hard to stay open until 4 a.m. Now they're like, we can close at midnight and make the same money. And if that's the case, I don't blame them.
Right. It's tough. Yeah.
So, I mean, why stick around and be open if you're not going to make any more money? That's not how businesses work. Unless you're a podcast.
Then you just stick around and make no money.
Yeah, then you just are here making zero money.
I know I've got a few people that are on me about starting a podcast and everything else and asking me advice, and my advice is always don't.
Yeah, refrain. Otherwise, you end up with a studio and a bunch of equipment.
I'd like to know the dollar amount that I've sunk into this thing at this point.
If we could just have all the money back we put into it.
In one lump sum?
Between the monthly fees and equipment and everything else.
I'll even lump Rock Radio 360 into that too.
Yeah, yeah. If we could just have all that back, like the last 4 years of it, we would have the money that we've tried to make with the podcast.
Thank you, Taco Bell Dong.
Yes. Nicely put.
You're right. I would venture this. If we could take all of the hours and not any of the money we've invested, but if we were to make minimum wage for all the hours to put into this, that would be a pretty hefty paycheck.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I'd say we'd be talking at a couple thousand hours each, probably like 3,000 hours each.
Oh, in the last 4 years?
Between Rock Radio 360, between the podcast. I'm talking travel time to and from places that we've gone just for this. I'm talking time on the air. I'm talking setup time. I'm talking teardown time. I'm talking everything. We have over almost 600 hours worth of podcast, so I'd say it's probably going to be about 4,000 to 5,000 hours each. What do you think?
Yeah, I would venture to guess, yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
We haven't made near that.
Shit. I mean, what's a minimum wage this day and age? I don't even know. $7.25 an hour?
You know, one of the things you brought up was you paid, $60 for $4 beers. Were they just in cups?
No, they were cans of, you could either get a can of Budweiser, Bud Light, or they had Twisted Tea, and they had a few other options, yeah.
So,
or Michelob Ultra.
It was just brought up in the comment section here that it's getting expensive to go to some of these. Like, it's more expensive to go to that where they have no overhead for that.
Right.
They're selling that beer, and it's like, especially here in Deckerville, did they have any kind of a tent or anything put up, or were they just under the awning out there?
They were just under the pavilion.
So they're just under the pavilion. They don't really have a whole lot of. Overhead involved, but they're a 400% markup on the beer.
I was just going to say, I think I'm not misquoting this, and I think it's JTK the one commenting. I'm pretty sure the local distributors help out a lot of these beer tents too by giving them a good rate on the beer.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
So they're not paying
And I have no problem with markups. I know that's how money is made. And I don't mind $4 a beer. I'm not going to lie to you. It's not cheap, but I've been way more expensive. Obviously, I talked about going to Pine Knob.
Yeah.
$16 for basically 2 beers, so $8 a piece. 4's not so bad. I have no problem with 4. But as you said, like, that's a good markup. You're making good money. You just got to sell. You got to sell. You got to draw people in, though. And God bless Minden. They try. I mean, they had entertainment there both nights. I mean, the truck and tractor pull goes all night. Friday night, they even had a DJ and karaoke and everything.
Yeah.
You got to try something, but I guess this year was just going to be a downer for Deckerville, the homecoming, though. I don't know what to say about it. I don't know the answer, which is why I'm not bitching a ton about it. But I've got to say, my overall impression was it was kind of lame compared to how it's been in the past. And how do we change that?
Well, last year they way overpaid the bands that were there.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Like, way overpaid. Because, like, they were making more playing one set than most of the bands that I ever played in made for a full night of playing. And so whoever did that was poorly thought that out.
Right.
They also did not vet their bands very well.
Right.
Because there were some bands and that didn't really do a very good job. And there was nothing there for a draw. I think what they were trying to do is just bring in 4 bands so that they could bring in all the people that would normally see those 4 bands. But they brought in 4 bands without a following. So, how do we sound?
We sound better than we've ever sounded before.
Holy cow, it must be the studio changes.
It's got to be the studio changes.
But yeah, I just, I think it's oversaturated. I think it's oversaturated.
Bummed for a lot of reasons because it used to be such a big deal, but times have changed. Numbers and population have dwindled. The people interested in going out has changed. The economic value of going out has changed so much. There's so many factors that I almost feel like saying just pull the plug, honestly. Or like you said, just have a rotating festival and then get with everybody, every town from, say, within about a 60-mile radius and say we're just going to have one big festival. We're going to rotate it between towns for the year.
A festival in this area is literally one large wedding away from not having anybody there.
And that's 100% accurate.
I mean, seriously.
Or one large funeral.
Yeah, one large funeral, one large wedding. It doesn't take much to just not have that be a thing. So, I totally get it. Plus, I just don't think people can afford, like they have in the past, they can't afford to go to every festival. I mean, for me to drive up to Minden is, 35 minutes.
Yeah.
So I'm going to probably go to Brown City or wherever else is having a festival that's
closer
to home for me.
I will mention this, and I had this thought and talked about this. Brown City and Sandusky are 2 of the outliers with what they do with their festival. The Brown City Days and the Thumb Festival happen very early, and it feels weird because kids aren't even out of school yet when Brown City has their festival. But I tell you what, they don't butt up against anything else that weekend. They do it. And Sandusky's Thumb Festival rarely butts up against a lot of other things when they do theirs too. So maybe they're onto something. So maybe the key is you got to be either early or you got to be late. You got to have it in. I tell you what, another festival that draws, and it's late, but they do it every year and it's a tradition, Caro's Pumpkin Festival.
Yeah.
That's essentially their homecoming, but that doesn't happen until October, early October.
And look at you would think that in the winter, there's not going to be a big turnout for something, but look at the parade in Sandusky, the first week in December.
Yeah.
And it dwindled for a while because it was poorly run there for a little bit, but the last couple of years, they've really brought that back. And that's another thing, too, that, Sandusky started doing that, which I know that they found it from someplace,
right?
Out of state or whatever, and they kind of
They were the only game in town when they first started.
Now there's one everywhere.
Harbor Beach has it the same night they do, or Bad Axe does, or
Harbor Beach. Croslex has one. Croswell has one. Yale has one. It's like, yeah, Come up with your own thing.
So I don't
Be
know.
a little bit original.
I don't know the key, but I can tell you, in having, you know, my ex being from Caro, kids living in Caro, me even living in Caro for a while, the Pumpkin Festival, they have it about the second week of October. The weather has, I rarely remember the weather being terrible. Most of the time it's going to be in the 50s, maybe 60s. It's comfortable. You're not sweating your balls off. You're just wearing, you know, dress accordingly. Wear a flannel shirt, wear a sweatshirt. You're going to be fine, but people come out to it.
Oh, yeah. On many occasions, I've played... I'm getting some weird air stuff going on here. I think we're all right. On many occasions, I played outdoors for Halloween.
Right.
31st of October or right around there. And only one year that I can remember was it ridiculously cold.
Right.
And like we got snow, it was about 28 degrees out. That was hard. But other than that, it's been 50s.
Well, shit, one of my favorite ones was up at Parisville there. And it was probably in the 50s that night. It wasn't bad at all. I mean, they had heaters going, and of course all the women are like, it's cold.
Yeah. Well, that is actually the night that I was talking about, because for that last set,
Yeah.
we hit 28 degrees and snow.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is bad.
I left before that, and I was feeling no pain when I left. That's the night I sang Black Number 1 with the band.
Yeah. You did all right. You did all right in your debut.
It wasn't so bad, considering I'm always an asshole, but I was a drunk asshole that night, and I got on stage and sang with the band. You'll have that.
Yeah, you did well. You did well. If anybody is upset that I'm blowing my nose and stuff, stock fexofenadine correctly. Yeah. So we were supposed to do some stuff last night on a totally different subject.
Oh, we were?
And, this is what led you to have to mess with the tape on your own.
Yeah, that was quite
The Flex Seal tape.
That's solo Flex Seal tape should be an Olympic event.
Yeah. Yeah. Phil has large patches of body hair gone after wrestling with that.
But not the ones that I want gone.
No, not the right ones. I'm going to cough again. Hang on.
Okay. So, yeah, if you want to remove the hair anywhere, just buy some Flex Seal tape. Just slap it on there, and not only will your balls not sink then, but they'll be hairless, so you'll be all set. That's the best commercial I have for them.
Good job, Billy Mays.
Right? But wait, there's
R.I.P.
more. He never said that. But wait, there's more. Billy Mays never said that.
What did he say?
I forget what his tagline was, but yeah.
He had to have something in there.
Yeah, all right. We'll add some production value here, and we'll do some research.
So anyways, last night, Phil and I were supposed to get together and move around the studio to this configuration that you see now. We had a whole plan in place that we were going to do. We were all set to do it. And I'm driving over here, and before I left the house,
Billy Mays, it says, but wait, there's more was his, but his only one here, and this is the one we used to repeat over and over again back in colleges. Hi, Billy Mays here.
yes.
Billy Mays here. Anyway, go ahead with your story of debauchery.
So I'm getting ready to leave the house. Well, it was well before I was getting ready to leave. And Mary says to me, because I mentioned my back being sore. Mostly because I sat in a chair and didn't do a whole lot yesterday.
That sounds like it was the wrong chair.
It was. But she's like, do you want a gummy? You know what? That sounds perfect. Low-key night, moving the studio around, no big deal. Might record an episode.
We were thinking about moving the studio around, recording an episode, possibly two, yeah.
So I take that gummy, and I'm driving on the way over here. And, yep, just about that quick, I said to Mary, I'm like, I think I should let you drive. She's like, what's going on? Are you all right? I'm like, I think that gummy just kicked in. So this was on North Sandusky Road at Forester Road. By the time we got to Phil's driveway, which was, what is that, maybe another 7 minutes?
Yeah.
I was incapacitated. I could not feel my legs anymore. I was having a really, really rough time. And to the point where we were driving back, we went down Ruth Road, got to 46, and I told Mary, I'm like, don't continue down Ruth, go into Sandusky. About halfway there, she says to me, she goes, why did you need something? Why are we going to Sandusky? I'm like, oh, just in case we need to go to the hospital. I was like,
what?
By the time we got to Sandusky, I no longer felt like I was going to die, but I did not feel good. And so I'm like, no, I just go home. I just need to sleep. So we got home, and of course it's hotter than shit out, right?
Yeah.
We got home, and I'm in the car, and she's like, you want me to get the boys to help you in the house? I'm like, I can't even really feel my legs. So no, let's just hang here for a little while. And I kind of woke up. She got in and out of the car a couple times, but she stayed out there with me, much to, it was a very, very nice of her to stay out there and babysit me. And who knows how many games of Angry Birds she played or whatever game she's playing right now.
I love Angry Birds.
But she hung out there with me, and I woke up about 8 o'clock. So I was in the car over an hour, well over an hour sleeping. And I'm like, I think I can get up and go in the house now. And I literally got up, went right to bed. I did not get out of bed until 11 o'clock this morning.
No.
So, yeah. No,
So,
I take that back. I did get up about 10:30 because I was so hungry that I couldn't stand it, but I was not up very long, and then did not get out of bed until 11 o'clock this morning.
so what did you find out after that?
So I thought it was the normal, like, 5 milligram gummy that I always take when I either want to fall asleep. It does help you sleep.
Take the edge off a little bit.
Yeah, but it was not. This was a gummy that was given to us, and it was homebrew. And don't really know how many milligrams it maybe was, but it was, or what the hell was in it.
But it was a lot.
It was a lot. And, but I survived it.
So
And I feel pretty well rested today.
I bet you do. It's probably for some of the, did you have any weird dreams that you recall?
Oh. So I woke up at one point, and literally all I could see was rainbows. I tried to look at my phone, and like it was like I had a rainbow filter in front of me. I couldn't read anything on my phone, and I'm like, God, I wonder if I should get Mary and go to the hospital. I just put my phone down and went right back to bed.
You're like,
I'm pretty sure, literally the thought that went through my head.
there's worse things than rainbows.
Yeah, at least I'm seeing rainbows.
Right.
I can live with seeing rain. If this is permanent, I'd much rather live with seeing rainbows than I would try and get up out of bed right now.
Big old dicks. That's all you see. Like,
I never got to that phase, but yeah, there was that. And then a couple of times on the ride home, like Mary she drove perfectly well, but I saw a car in front of us. And for some reason, I thought that car was totally stopped, and she was going at about 100 miles per hour at it.
like, slow down.
And we were both just driving. And so I do one of those things where I'm, hand out in front of me, and my feet are hitting the brakes that don't exist on the passenger side. It was crazy. So I don't know what in the fentanyl was in that thing, but holy shit. Holy shit.
Fucking. So my experience with it was, we were supposed to meet.
Yes, Brian. Yes.
We were supposed to meet here about 5:30, And so I come to the studio. I actually hauled the tabletop up here, and I'm working on putting it together, putting the legs on it and everything, because I knew you were going to be here. And then I get a text from you like, I'm here, but
I'm going to need a few minutes.
yeah, like I took a gummy, and
One of the last things I remember.
like, I'm going to need a few minutes. And I'm like, haha, no problem. Fuck, man, we've all been there. And
I at that point, I literally did think it was just going to
Right.
be, because this was an hour and 10 minutes after I took the damn thing. And I thought, I'm not going to feel anything.
this whole time I'm giggling, thinking about the line, man, these gummies ain't shit.
Uh-huh.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. That was me. That was me.
Man, these gummies ain't shit. So I'm up here working away, and I lost track of time. It was probably about 15, 20 minutes later. Mary comes up here, hands me the Flex Seal tape and the mounts that you brought for the cameras and the other things. And she's like, Adam is not in good shape. Doesn't think he can make it up the ramp, let alone the stairs. I'm sorry. She apologized twice. She's like, we're gonna have to go home, and I'm like, no big deal, man. I mean, I hope he feels better. Like, fuck, man, I get it. And then I get a text. I get a text from Mary. So I get a text from Mary, a message. This is at 7:29 p.m. We're home. He's gently snoring. Haven't left the car yet, though. Laugh out loud.
So, yeah, because I really don't know the time frame of anything after I took that thing hit, and it was literally like something just like there was a spark in the brain that just ignited
Just like shooting your phone through a lawnmower.
it was very similar. The music stopped in my headphones.
Uh-oh.
So yeah, I don't know really how long I laid there in the car.
So you pinpointed the moment where it was no longer fun.
Oh yeah. And that's the thing for me when I take gummies. There is no like fun zone
Right.
for the gummies. I either take them and feel nothing,
Right.
or any kind of edibles, cookie. I either take them and feel nothing, or I am absolutely blitzed out. There is no like good tipping point
So
of like, oh, I took that and I felt really great.
So my worst experience on them was we were headed up north fishing, and one of the guys brought a cookies, and he said, hey, these are our veteran users of cannabis.
Yes.
He said, hey man, you might want to only take half of that. So I shit you not, being the person of sound mind that I am, I took a quarter of it. I had the biggest existential crisis of my life in the middle of a Jay's Sporting Goods, which would be up in Clare or so.
Yeah.
I'm in the middle of the Clare Jay's Sporting Goods giving a soliloquy about how life doesn't matter. We all die in the end, and nothing we do will leave an everlasting legacy. And I was freaking out, man. They had to get me out of there.
Well, what's beeping?
This guy, I got.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot it does that. So I also had that. I also had that kind of mindset as well. So my oldest went out to Maine, and on a very tired, like kind of not really a red eye, but close to a red eye flight.
Right.
And then they had a 3-hour drive back to where he was going, because he actually flew into Boston, I believe. And so then they had a 3-hour drive back to where they had to go in Maine. And of course, he got off the plane, and first time he's ever flown. And he gets off the plane and he's like, okay, I'm gonna do some stuff. So he, just chilling out, he hits a pen. And because I think he was so tired and, jet lagged a little bit,
Right.
he his flight also got delayed several times out of Detroit. So he was supposed to leave at like 4 p.m, and he didn't end up leaving until like 9 o'clock at night. So, he's at the airport all day. He had a few drinks at the airport, just because he's like, why the hell not? I don't have to drive anywhere.
Shit, I ain't driving nowhere, foo.
Gets off the plane. They get in the car, and he decides, I'm going to hit the pen. Calls me a couple hours later. I think I need to go to the ER. I'm like, then go to the ER. I'm not there to assess this for you. And I'm talking to his buddy that's with him, and he's like, I think he's all right, but he really is convinced he needs to go. I'm like, take him to an ER. So they went to a random ER somewhere in rural Maine.
At least they didn't like roll him out of the car on the way by and just leave him.
Yeah,
like,
no.
At the curb by the.
No, I got regular updates from his buddy. His buddy's a great guy. And they basically just said, well, you're very dehydrated. And so they pumped him full of fluid, and he like felt instantly better, and they let him go. I was kind of shocked that it wasn't any big deal. It was like, oh yeah, we see this all the time. You're dehydrated. They gave him 2 bags of IV and sent him on his way. Like,
you've been smoking the reefer.
Hour and a half later. How often do you get in and out of an ER in an hour and a half?
Normally, you're not even in the ER in an hour. You're not even seeing anybody in an hour.
No, well, that's the beauty of rural Maine is there's nobody there. You know, those people cut an arm off, they're going to get some electrical tape and a paper towel and fix it.
They're like, we don't need to go, don't you know? So, one thing that I haven't had a terrible experience on, although I'm pretty much the same way with the pod as you are, the terrible experiences have way outweighed the good. I don't recall having a lot of positive experiences on it. Maybe a couple. Several terrible ones, though. So that's why I don't even bother anymore. I don't care to. It ain't my bag, baby. I don't understand how these people can just smoke and smoke and smoke and smoke and smoke like.
See, I think that if you are a user that uses it a lot.
But it makes me feel frittata, too, though. It really.
Yeah. But I mean, be honest. When you're around people and you're not smoking and you're not drunk yet or anything.
Yeah.
And they have partaken, they seem a little frittata.
They're frittata.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a thing.
So not only that, but the one thing that I have not had a terrible experience on, but I haven't done it often, but recreationally, probably at this point, maybe a half a dozen times is shrooms.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like.
I haven't tried yet. I'm pretty lame as far as that
You should
goes,
try recreationally. It's interesting.
But, you know, I don't like. One thing that I've realized is I don't like my reality altered.
I don't mind it in and of the sense that I've only done it in safe places, though. Like, very controlled environments. I've never done it in public, which could be the difference. I've only done it, like, if we've been, you know, I mean, Tuscola-Palooza, I guess, but...
yeah, but that was after, and it was...
Yeah, it was after. And, like, before it was, like, camping trips or fishing trips or things like that, where it's only generally us.
Right.
So we just laugh a lot, and then you go to bed and you have the fucking greatest dreams you've ever had in your life. Like, in your dreams, you've conquered everything. Like, you have all the fucking answers, man. It's brilliant. Like, yeah.
And, you know...
It's the only time I've never not felt like a loser.
Huh. Drugs will do that for you.
I guess. Drugs will make you not feel like a loser, kids.
Not losers do drugs. That's a great campaign.
That's terrible advice.
So, you know, it to me, I'm very good at drinking.
Well, I'm well versed in it too.
I mean, but the thing is, I want to get inebriated. I know right where to go.
Right.
To not feel like shit the next day, and I'm very good even when I'm drunk at.
But I also just had this discussion. With that, I can control it. I can sober up in a hell of a hurry. And I know I'm not sober by any means
but you can think
chemically.
Straight.
But my brain can definitely snap back to reality.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I've had that before where, you know, I
mean, when it's time to bury a body and you're drunk, you know what to do. You're like, yeah, let's go.
And I did not feel that way yesterday. And the other time that I was very, very, quote unquote, greened out, if anybody's been greened out, you know what I'm talking about.
Fuck yeah. That was an amazing. When are you going to make us another brisket? I'll even pay for it though.
Soon.
That was Green Out Day. Yeah.
We need to have everybody come out to my place. I'll do a brisket or a smash burger. We'll do something and do some fishing.
All right, let's do it.
We're gonna have to plan this in August.
I'm in.
So
Don't threaten me with a good time.
yeah, it's got to happen. The pond needs fished.
The pond needs fished.
It does badly. So we will make that. We're gonna make plans for that right away.
Let's do it.
I'm all for it. I'm behind this. I will do the 24-hour brisket making thing. And
I'll be there. I'll be there.
I'm all for it. All for it.
Speaking of being there, though, we should probably be out of this episode. We're getting pretty close. I
We
feel
are.
like.
Oh yeah, we are. It's went by fast.
It's gone by very quickly. Do we want to do another live, or are we just going to chill out and chill out?
We might as well go live. It gives me stuff to pull up on the for clips and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, maybe we'll call some people the next episode. How does that sound?
Or maybe people can call us.
Oh, shit. You can call us.
Yeah, there's a number at the bottom. All these people commenting and saying stuff, but not really saying stuff.
How to say stuff without really saying stuff. Is that how it is?
You don't need listeners like that.
Repeat it again.
For those of you in the back,
You don't need listeners like that.
Thank you, Tiller Guy. Tiller Guy here.
From your butthole headboard.
oh boy.
Yeah, well, thanks to everybody who did listen to this one or tuned in on Facebook Live. We always appreciate it. Share it with friends. I need everybody to share. We need to build our audience.
Sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring. Even if you don't care about these people, even if you don't like our podcast, share it with people that you don't like.
I have shared this out to so many random people that I don't really know. And
Every time like, why did I get this? Why?
I'm like, you're welcome. And they're like, I didn't thank you. And I'm like, you're still welcome.
You're welcome.
No, it does help us keep doing this. And honestly, looking at the numbers tonight, we probably had more people watch this with almost no advance notice that we were doing it. More people watch this than any other one we've done so far.
Well, thank you.
So thank you for listening and watching and doing that stuff. And we will turn you back to your regularly scheduled programs, but we will be right back in a few minutes with our Thursday episode live. So
Why not? I got a pee. So if you want to play the outro music, and I'll work on getting us out of here.
there you go.
He's Adam Filkins. I'm Phil Nickel. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you for tuning in on Facebook Live. If you did, you can catch us on all of the social medias everywhere from X to Twitter to Facebook to what am I forgetting? YouTube,
Yeah, all that stuff.
TikTok, all that bullshit. Instagram, whatever you're doing, we're there. So from all of us here at the P&A Podcast Express, thank you for hosting us, Palm Street Studio. You had no choice. And
No say
it all. We just came up in you and we're here. So, the best news I can give or best advice I can offer, make good choices.